Live from Austin, Texas, with host Rosie Newberry. Local trends, shopping, and more. This is Studio 512.
Y'all, different plants, of course, have different needs. Lance Robertson with Plants.org is joining us today to discuss which plants need more rays and which need more shade, especially as we're heading into our sunny and hot season of the year. Good morning to you, Lance.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you as usual. And I want to first ask about why sun and shade requirements, because I feel like you can see it on the card.
Sure.
Right, when you buy a plant. Why are they so important?
You know, it's really, the way to say, I like to say is, that's the energy that grows the rest of the plant. The sunlight is really what it needs. But think of it more like if you're a baker. It's the oven for the baker. It's going to be able to put the ingredients together, the water, the nutrients the plants get from the ground, and kind of put it together so that the plant can use it. Too much sun, and basically that oven runs when it doesn't need to, and it damages the plant. We see it as leaf scorch and other things. If shady plants get too much sun, if it doesn't get enough, it just can't put the ingredients together, and it's never going to grow, it's never going to flower and do all the things that we want the plants to do when we have them.
Thinking about it as an oven makes so much sense. Thank you for making that very easy for those of us who don't know anything about plants. All right, let's talk about the different types of shade that someone might be suggested for a plant.
Sure. You know, one of the shades that people always ask me about is one called dappled sun. So a great example I like to use is this cactus. Now, this cactus is actually an epiphyte. It grows up in trees. It doesn't harm the tree in its native area. It just grows there. This is the kind of thing.
That's what epiphyte?
Yeah, epiphytes.
Okay.
It grows up in the trees, but it doesn't hurt it. It's not a parasite. It's not going to harm the tree. It's just kind of living in conjunction with it.
Gotcha.
The reason why I use this as an example for dappled sun is, you know, up in the tree, it's never going to get total shade. It's always going to get a little sun through the leaves, but never full sun and never full shade. So that's really kind of our middle line when we're talking about shade, where you're getting sun most of the day, but it's broken up through trees or through screens. That's what we do in greenhouses. We put shade screens out so it gets 60% of sunlight all the time. That's our dappled sun.
Got it.
But you have stuff like vegetables that they need full sun. We're trying to get them to do stuff. So again, in our baking analogy, we need that oven going all day long. We need it making fruit, growing, flowering. So they're going to be full sun most of the time.
Okay, I see tomato, I see jalapeno.
Yeah, and then we've got sweet potato up in the front.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, now granted, we grow sweet potato a lot of times for the leaves, but these are sweet potatoes. We do want them to grow large roots where the potatoes are. So they also love full sun and can grow incredibly fast given enough sunlight because they can really use that sun.
Okay, and I have to bring up the little teensy Venus flytrap here.
I love Venus flytrap. Too often I see people put them inside and trap them away. Again, the oven makes them do things. Venus flytraps move. You know, it takes a lot of energy to do that. So Venus flytraps actually want full sun. Lots of water, lots of sun, and they do phenomenally well in a lot of different climates.
Okay, good to know. Just want to make sure we're talking about all the plants here. Have we touched on this?
No, so this is actually Citrosa. This is one of my favorite geraniums, and it's because it's the one that we make citronella out of. It's the mosquito plant.
The mosquito plant.
So it has a great familiar smell to me. Certainly if you've got some, taste or aversion to the smells of bug spray, you might smell it and think that it smells like bug spray, but it's just a geranium. It's another one that generally can take full sun, making that oil, making the scent, gives it a lot. But in our hot Texas summer, it can't really push through all the water that it needs. So this is one that I really like to have about partial sun.
Okay.
So I would say early morning sun is great, late afternoon sun is great, but give it a little shade in the afternoon. I really think these are great, especially below something like a crepe myrtle. It can get that shade when it needs it, but it's got sun the rest of the day when it doesn't.
And I do love a crepe myrtle. Okay, what are we talking about over here?
Finally, we're going to go into the shade. And a lot of people think if it's shady, it can't have color, it can't have flowers. Obviously, things like the orchids that are up in the front flower for days. The coleus that's in the back, just the leaves themselves make the color.
Yeah.
That way the plant doesn't have to spend as much energy making flower color. It can make it through the leaves, still have some interest, and it's something that you never have to worry about looking plain. It's always going to have some color in your garden, especially in those shady spots that sometimes are hard to find something beautiful.
And we've got to talk about this gorgeous orange plant, which you said is originally native to Africa.
Yeah, this is Chrysandra. So the other thing we often see plants that love the shade like this Chrysandra does is we'll see glossy leaves, and that's to keep fungus and other things away from it. So if you see real glossy but larger leaves, a lot of times it's great for the shade. It can get light when it needs to get light with the big leaves, and then also stay away from some of the common problems we have in the shade like fungus. The other thing I really love about these is this plant blooms like this year round.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so you can put it outside, especially in the hanging basket, bring it in. You always have that wonderful pop of colors somewhere that you can do, and it doesn't really need that much light to look like it does.
Yeah, a lot of great plant suggestions and some food suggestions today. Lance, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much. All right, if you need help with a specific plant, you can reach out to Lance directly. I always want to say he will answer you for free. Check out his website to learn more, plants.org, and increase your greenery knowledge by listening to his podcast, Good at Plants, Bad at Life. Welcome back, everybody. Austin Pets Alive is one of our city's awesome animal shelters that, of course, we feature here on Studio 512 pretty often. And APA has tons of pooches and kitties that are looking for their forever home. Luis Sanchez is joining us this morning to talk about the adorable Cocoa Pebbles.
Yes.
She is a sweet lady.
Wonderful.
Who is our pet of the week, along with Kylie, who we don't have mic'd, but is a big friend of APA and a big friend of this pooch as well. Look at her. She's just loving it. So, Luis, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Let's talk a little bit about Cocoa Pebbles. She, I think, really fits her name. She's got this beautiful brindle coat.
She does.
But she's also apparently just the best dog on the planet.
She really is. So our foster has fostered over 30 dogs, and she said that this is the easiest dog she's ever fostered.
Fostered over 30 dogs.
Yeah.
This has been the easiest dog.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. And she is just a gentle sweetheart. She loves her humans. She loves her pets. She does great with other dogs as well. And she just loves being kind of the watcher, right? So she just hangs out on the patio, watches her TV, watches nature, does all the things, and she just loves it. And
she looks like a cuddle bug to me too,
She
because
really is.
she doesn't seem super duper high energy like you can see even in these pictures. She's not running after the next squirrel she sees, that sort of thing.
And she's 7 years young.
I was gonna say.
She's still got some energy in her. She still is playful. But of course, she doesn't need all the activity in the world, right? Mm-hmm. She loves some good couch time, but she also loves to play. So I think it's a good balance for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And being 7 years young, to use your point, she's learned a lot. So as far as like taking on a new dog, potty training, crate training, I have to go away. Does she have any anxious separation? None of those are issues here.
None of those are issues. She's potty trained. She's house trained. She's able to roam around the house without chewing anything, destroying anything. And she's done really great, even going out to places like public places, like restaurants, breweries, stuff like that. She does wonderful in a lot of those things. So that's the beauty of adopting an older dog, right? Is that you don't have to worry about all the crazy puppy antics. You just get a really great dog that is just going to be a really wonderful companion.
She's also not very loud. I understand that she woo-woos.
Yeah, so that's her nickname is Woo Woo. She howls when she wants something. So you get home and you see her and she wants some pets, she does a little woo woo.
I have also seen her like do a little paw at you. Hey, a little attention over here, please. But it's all very, very sweet. Yeah. And she actually wouldn't do, bless you, honey. She also wouldn't do too badly with another dog.
Yeah, she wouldn't. She actually is with a resident dog right now.
Okay.
And she does great. The dog is about 4 years old and she loves to play with him. So she would be really great. And we think she'd be really good for older kids as well. She's a little blind on one eye, but that doesn't stop her from anything. She still loves interacting with people and doing all the things. So she's
gonna make friends on the patios. I'll tell you what, when the Austin summer comes around. Okay, I hear there's actually no adoption fee for her right now, so this is a great time to inquire about Cocoa Pebbles.
Yes, perfect time. Yeah, so thanks to we get a grant from a Gray Muzzle organization that helps us with senior dogs, and so we are able to waive her adoption fee for her. So yeah, she's free, and who wouldn't want her as a companion for her family?
Oh, not only that, but you guys set people up for success.
We do.
When you send a dog or a cat home, you want this to be, the last that the shelter sees of this animal. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about, what the adoption process looks like.
Yeah, so you come on over to the shelter, or you would connect with our foster, and basically we go through a matchmaking process. We talk about, what does your household look like? Do you have other pets? Do you have other kids? Is this a good fit for your home? And then you can even do a sleepover trial period, which is get to see, okay, does this work for me? Does it not? And there's no pressure, right? It's just making sure that this is going to be a good fit for you. And then we kind of go through that. We provide lifelong behavior support. So if you're like, hey, did this, and you're like, okay, well, we can provide you that training for the life of the animal.
That's amazing.
And that's all free
actually.
included. And of course, we include all the vaccinations that she got in our care. And then you can always kind of come to us with any questions. So it's really helpful for her to know, that she has the support of APA, and of course her fosters and all the volunteers that support APA. We're always here to support our animals and make sure that they have a good life.
I know that fostering is so important because it gets dogs out of the shelter.
Yes,
it lets
yeah.
them calm down so you can see kind of their true personality shine. Are you guys still looking for fosters at this time?
Yes, yeah, especially with the Austin heat, right? It's gonna get hot. Our kennels are outside. We have cooling systems, but really we know that nothing's more comfortable than the couch with some nice AC, maybe watching some reality TV, right? So we are always looking for fosters. Again, it gives us a really good note of how they do in a home.
Yeah, how they do with other dogs,
how they do with kids.
When you're gone.
Exactly. And it gets them used to the routine of being in a home, and it makes that transition a lot easier for whoever is the adoptive family. So they don't have to really worry about that. It just kind of like works a little bit easier because they've already been in a home.
Lovely. And so I know, teenagers maybe have time coming up this summer.
Yes,
so
yeah.
fosters, volunteers, always welcome.
Yes,
yeah. Let's talk about your Memorial Day sales, not actually at the shelter, but happening at your stores.
Yeah, so if people don't know, we have 5 thrift stores all around Austin, including Round Rock and Pflugerville, where all the proceeds come back to APA. So they're called APA thrift stores. And we have a 50% off sale for all the stores through Memorial Day. We're gonna be open so people can come on by, 50% off everything. We have a lot of cool stuff, pet supplies, clothing, some cool vintage stuff like that.
It's
too.
not just pets though, right?
It's not just pets, yeah.
You can find yourself a brand new outfit.
Oh yeah, no, I shop for a lot of my clothing. I'm probably the biggest customer because I love thrifting. And APA Thrift is one of the quintessential thrift experiences of Austin because you can find some really good treasures, right?
Love it.
Clothing, house stuff, pet stuff, movies, hats, whatever you want, you're gonna find there. And then of course we have little residence cat there, so you can find Bugs at our 54th store and really get to enjoy kind of supporting APA, supporting rescue pets while also finding something for yourself.
Bugs the cat.
Bugs the cat at 51st. He's our legend.
51st.
We have Peaches, who's our little wheelie puppy at Altdorf.
Okay.
So we have a couple little legendary pups.
You got to go in, snap a picture, get a pet.
Yes, post us, tag us on Instagram.
And maybe buy a little something too. Okay, sounds good to me. Kylie did a great job of keeping Cocoa Pebbles very happy. And Luis, thank you so much for your time. Great job, Coco. She's like,
so good.
I just want more pets. All right, guys, if you think Cocoa Pebbles could be a great fit for your family, inquire about adopting today by heading to austinpetsalive.org. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Wendy Bar Beef and Wendy Bar Ranch. Hey guys, if you're looking for a gift to seriously impress Dad this Father's Day, we've got something that's perfect for the grill. Michael Klein, the owner of Wendy Bar Beef and Wendy Bar Ranch, has locally raised 100% Black Angus beef, and he's here to tell us more about his offerings. And Michael, the first thing I'd like to do is dig into your personal history just a little bit. Tell us about, coming from Gillespie County, how many generations y'all have been out there, and Wendy Bar Beef and Wendy Bar Ranch.
I'm a 6th generation Gillespie County, not just Texas, but Gillespie County. My ancestors came here in the 1840s and 50s from Germany, and they all stayed right there. So I live in Austin right now with my wife, but we have a ranch in Stonewall. That's where our ranch is. We do genetic testing of our animals for marbling and tenderness, and we've been doing that since 2001 and 2004. So we've been doing it for decades. And once you do it for that length of time, and you keep selecting for marbling and tenderness, after a few decades, you get some really well-marbled, tender beef. And that's what we've been doing. And we raise all our own cattle. We don't buy any cattle from anybody else. We're 100% Black Angus.
Okay, you have a bit of a funny story, and it pertains to checking how you're doing versus everybody else, and it turns out the answer is pretty darn well.
Yes, well, this has been several years ago, and I just saw in an agricultural publication that there was a state contest up in Kansas City, Missouri. And it was the American Royal Steak Contest. And so the guy that worked for me at the time, I just said, Andrew, let's just go get 3 ribeyes out of the freezer and send them up there and see where we are. And lo and behold, to our surprise, when the results came back, we came in 4th place nationwide. It's a blind tasting and there's entrants from all over the country, but we beat everybody else in the state of Texas.
I'm going to ask if you use commercial chemicals in your operation, but my first guess is going to be that you don't.
We use virtually none. We are very much, we try to manage to solve problems, so we don't need to deworm our cattle with chemicals, because we manage that by rotating them through our paddocks so they don't accumulate worms. We don't use any fly insecticides or anything like that unless there's some major catastrophe of some kind, which is extremely rare. We use almost no commercial fertilizers. We're very much, we try to stay away from the big pharma products. We just want a very natural product.
And you're probably going to go home and cook this tonight.
I will, yes, I will. Yes.
Someone who really believes in what he's creating. It's
Yes.
been really wonderful, Michael. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
Shop available cuts right now at wendybarbeef.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Wendy Bar Beef and Wendy Bar Ranch. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union. As more couples reconsider traditional financial arrangements in marriage, Pamela Cotton, Vice President of Member Services at Austin Telco Federal Credit Union, is here to talk to us about why some folks may opt to keep their money separate and how to navigate any potential challenges. I'm feeling very seen, as Pam knows I did just get married, and this is something we're talking about. So Pam, why might couples consider maintaining separate finances after marriage?
Well, so you just got married, coming together, and I have to preface this with saying it's not for everybody. There are lots of choices, but you've had your financial independence. Maybe there's a little bit of a challenge doing that together. So maintaining that financial independence is a great way to start that. You each kind of maintain your own income, your own expenses, things like that, if that works for you, right? Simplified debt management. If you have the expense, if you incur it, then you're going to pay for it. So you just keep that separate.
What are some potential drawbacks of separate finances if we don't agree to do at least a little working together?
That's right. So the first thing we talk about, trust issues. Are you being upfront and honest? Are you being open? The one thing you could do, if you choose to do that, is just be transparent, showing each other what you have and how that's working with the household, right? So you don't have to worry about, are you hiding something? What are we doing with that? And then the communication barriers, again, being transparent, talking to each other, saying what works best for you. Is it a challenge for one more than it is the other? Just communicating to make sure that's working for you both. And then the complex long-term planning. If you're keeping everything separate, how are you planning for buying a home, having children, for retirement?
How can couples effectively manage shared expenses if they choose to keep their finances separate, but they want to put some things together?
Yeah, so when we talked about different options there, maybe you make proportional contributions. So if you make more money than I make, then you're going to put a little bit more into the household budget to make it fair, right? Or you do fixed contributions. You each agree, we're going to put X amount of dollars into the household budget to take care of our expenses, and that's where sometimes that problem could come into play. We got expense tracking apps, like on our mobile app. We have the money management tool that actually helps you keep track of where you're spending money, and it'll actually help you with that. And then the joint saving goals. Work together, agree on what you're going to do. We talked about retirement. Do those things together.
Absolutely, and as life changes, of course, that budget's going to change, so you need to keep checking in. Okay,
Absolutely.
Good advice today, Pam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rosie.
To learn more about all of the services Austin Telco Federal Credit Union has to offer, visit atfcu.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Austin Telco Federal Credit Union. Welcome back, everybody. As the weather is heating up, so are Austin's social events. The iconic Hot Luck Festival returns this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and Executive Director Neil Maris is joining us, along with Amanda Turner, chef de cuisine of one of my favorite restaurants, Ola May. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Of course. All right, Neil, we're going to start with you. Can't remember off the top of my head how long this fest has been going on now, but it's a pretty big deal. So if you wouldn't mind, just remind us a little bit about the festival and what folks can expect when they walk up.
Yes, it's been going on since 2017. It's a 4-day food and music festival. We're at 4 different locations this year for the food events. It's at Franklin Barbecue on Thursday night.
Because I know Aaron was like instrumental in this.
It's kind of his brainchild.
Yeah.
Thursday is at Franklin Barbecue, and that one's called Giddy Up. Friday is at Assembly Hall, and that one is called Night Moves. That's a brand new event for us. Saturday is kind of like our big, the biggest event is kind of like the main one. It's called El Fuego out at Jester King, and then Sunday is at Fair Market, and it's called Camp Sunnyside. It's a brunch-themed event.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, and all of those venues are absolutely fantastic as
Yeah.
well. So that should be really fun. Okay, I was going to ask about what's new this year, but you already brought up Night Moves. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so Night Moves at Assembly Hall, the theme is kind of like a street food themed event. So
I
people
love this theme.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
a good theme.
Yeah.
Very fun.
So it kind of has like an 80s cinematic theme to it, but everyone's just kind of creating something that you get on street food. I think like the main tent at that one is East Coast seafood tent, so where we have 3 chefs just doing their take on some East Coast classics.
Wow. Okay. All right. My husband would love that. All right. Let's talk about El Fuego. First of all, Jester King. I love it. If you have not been, go and see the goats. They're amazing.
Yes.
You have
They're
to see the
amazing.
goats. They're so cute.
It's so cute. Okay. And Jester King has a ton of space for
Yep.
people to come out there and have fun.
And the goats are one reason why we went out there. So initially, El Fuego was at a place called Wild Onion Ranch. It closed, but they had longhorns, and so we just kind of switched the longhorns for goats.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's a big sprawling. It's a live fire event, so all the chefs are doing some sort of grilling, of some sort. But yeah, it's just it's one of the better events that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, talk to us about some of the participating chefs because yes, we are honoring local, but also we're bringing in some big names.
Yeah, so chefs come from all over. Some of the, I guess, bigger ones are Amanda Schulman from Philadelphia, the Event Tide guys that are doing they're doing a lobster roll on Friday night. Some more like locals are Becky Mason from Houston. She's Bake Shop is doing some baking.
Fluff Bake Bar.
Yeah, delicious.
Delicious.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Super good.
If you two say delicious, I
Yes.
believe you. Okay.
We're big fans.
Okay.
And then like for me from Estee is also, there's just a whole bunch. Like anyone that's good in Austin is pretty much at Potluck.
Lovely. Well, and that's why you've gone for so many years.
That's why.
It's like she's like, I can't even remember. Is it my 4th? Is it my 5th? I can't remember how many times I've been there. But you have one chef in particular that you're really looking forward to meeting.
Yes, Mason Hereford of Turkey and the Wolf from New Orleans. He's a very cool guy. I got to meet him last year, but he always makes very creative and exciting food.
You said he owned a sandwich shop, so
Yes.
I don't know how to picture it. But
It's
he
nothing
must
like
be,
what you expect.
Okay, okay. I was like a really good muffaletta, or
Kind of, but like as far as the vibe, think like the Grateful Dead, rollerblades, and Legos. That's the vibe.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, interesting. Kind of a throwback vibe.
Totally,
Okay.
yes.
I like that. All right. Can you tell us, if you wouldn't mind, what it feels like to participate, just since you've been a part of the group for so many years?
Of course. One thing I love about Hot Luck is that it is kind of feels like you remember summertime when you're a kid and like you're getting out of school and you get to go have fun. That's what it feels like. It's like really kicking off the summer. And there's just so many different kinds of chefs, so much kinds of food, and the music is fantastic. Like you just don't really see such an inclusive kind of event.
Cool.
And in my opinion, it is the best event in Austin. Thank you.
Oh, that was a really nice compliment right there, Neil. And then you said as well, like, because I was asking, do you educate people, when they walk up and that sort of thing? You're like, no, girl, it's dinner and a show.
Yes.
Like, I finally get to show you how good I am at what I do.
100%, and especially El Fuego is all live fire cooking.
Yeah.
So you get to see chefs in their element, actually like working with heat, working with different kinds of grills, smoking, it's just really exciting and super cool.
And this, whatever we're looking at right here on a plate, smells absolutely incredible, y'all. It smells so good. And so is this going to be part of your El Fuego offering?
It is.
Okay, talk to me about it.
Yes, so this year El Fuego, I'm actually representing my pop-up, the Fiery Talon.
Okay.
We are a cult of sorts.
Well, at least you said it out loud.
Well, the whole thing is we want you to join us.
Ah.
So what we do is we make fantasy-inspired food, and it's usually very spicy. What I brought today is not super spicy, but we have a focus on a lot of unique spices in general, particularly Szechuan peppercorns and a little bit of Japanese influence.
Okay, a little bit of kind of going Asian style.
Yes.
So you have some toppings to finish these off.
Yes, I do.
What have you done so far, just so we know?
Yes, so whenever you're buying wings and you want to grill them, grilling is one of my favorite ways to cook them, but not super common. Personally, I always brine them. So I brine them overnight in a 3% brine, salt brine.
Okay.
And then you dry them off. And I just bake these in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes. It dries out the skin. So when you put it on the grill and you glaze it, you get this beautiful char.
Okay, because the char is gorgeous.
The char is the best part.
Yeah. Okay, knowing that a brining is like an important step of this process helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
They also have like this beautiful like glaze gorgeousness on them. What
Yes.
is that?
So this is a whiskey honey glaze from Olame. So this is kind of like me bringing the two worlds together.
Cool.
We do fine dining Southern cuisine, so it's always fun to bring in some of those elements. And we get local honey and we use rye whiskey.
All right. Okay, so then the toppings for the wings go as follows.
Yes. So first we're going to add a little bit more glaze because you can never have too much. Also, it helps to tamp down some of the spice.
Okay, so I can tell that you're a fan of maybe kicking people's palates up a little bit.
Yes, and one thing I will say for sure that's going to be happening at the actual Hot Luck event is we'll be doing the Fiery Talon Challenge.
Oh.
And offering a extraordinarily spicy sauce to go alongside these wings.
Good luck.
For those of you that are willing. And then I have this curry spice mix, which has some
I
Szechuan
love
peppercorns in
the
it as
look
well.
of this. I was like turmeric for sure,
Yes.
but you said curry
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
There's also some Korean chilies in there. And like I said, Szechuan peppercorns, which make your mouth more numb and less like flat heat.
Okay.
It keeps it interesting.
Keeps it interesting.
You know, you have to have fun.
I feel like I'm getting punished, but with good food.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
All right, some nice cilantro maybe going on top.
Yep, we got some cilantro. We have some chives because a little onion never hurt anyone. And then these are actually Benny seeds.
Well, I'm glad I didn't just say sesame.
Right. They're actually the predecessor to the sesame seed, and they originally come from Africa.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
were super popular in the South, especially in
I
the
love when I get to learn
early
something.
American times.
Yeah, and say the word one more time.
Benny.
Benny.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm writing that down as the one thing I learned today. Thank you so much, Chef. All right. Let's talk about, Neil, the music. She mentioned it. It is fantastic. It's a growing kind of element here. What's going to be going on?
So we have 3 venues that are having shows all weekend. High Noon, Hotel Vegas, and Mohawk. High Noon is doing kind of like a kickoff party for us. It's also a Space Flight Records benefit show.
Great.
So yeah, so that
Because I do know it's a nonprofit, isn't it?
it's a nonprofit
Yeah.
record label. Yes. So that will be on Thursday. Friday, the Spits are playing at Mohawk. Saturday, White Denim is also playing at Mohawk, and then Sunday, kind of to close everything out, Hard Proof is playing at Hotel Vegas, and we're also doing karaoke inside of Volstead.
Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna hear the opposite of good if I show up, but that's okay. And then just real quickly before we let you go, your charity partner. Who
Yes.
does this go back to? The Southern Smoke Foundation,
It's the Southern
right?
Smoke Foundation. They're based out of Houston. Chris Shepard is kind of like the ringleader of it. They kind of have 2 different main ways that they help out chefs. One is through if somebody gets hurt or if there's a natural disaster, they're able to help send some money to help people get through. I know they were very helpful in like with North Carolina with Silver. And then also they have another thing that they call Behind You that's for mental health. So you get free mental health services.
Wonderful.
From,
That's something that we're really passionate about
100%.
here.
Yeah. So like
on the
there's
show.
Yeah.
And I know so often restaurants can work on fine margins, and
Correct.
after
Exactly.
the pandemic, we've seen how quickly
Yes.
you can be affected by
Truly.
something that has nothing to do with you or your restaurant. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool org, and I know tickets are still available, so I'm going to tell
Yes.
people about that right now. But you guys, thank you so much.
Thank
And I'm going to
you.
eat this little plate of wings. Thank you so much once we go off
Enjoy.
camera. All right. For more information and to get tickets, y'all visit hotluckfest.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram at hotluckfest. We'll see you there. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored on behalf of Wyndham, Jewelers Mutual, Pure Michigan, and Lifen by Tips on TV.
Obviously, y'all, the ultimate goal for adventure seekers is to go on an epic vacation, but that requires planning and some travel inspiration. The perfect expert to help is your bucket list guide, Justin Walter. Justin's the host of the popular travel series Around the World in 80 Seconds, guest host of NBC Peacock's Global Child, a show that takes viewers to exotic places, and his blog is called Your Bucket List Guide. We're happy to have him. Justin, good morning.
Good morning, Rosie. So great to be with you.
What amazing adventures have you been on lately? Give us some inspiration, if you would.
Yes, well, I'm all about turning your bucket list dreams into reality, and I did just that with a recent trip around the world, exploring the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador with the best wildlife in the world. It was incredible. Paragliding in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is now maybe my favorite city in the world, and then doing a cultural homestay immersion with a beautiful family that I fell in love with in Japan. I'm really about trying to inspire people to travel with connection.
That is so cool, and such different types of adventures. I know the sea turtles had to be so cool in the Galapagos, I just have to say.
Yes.
Okay, give us a top tip to get started if you wouldn't mind, because, you know, we want to do the cool things that you do.
Well, with summer around the corner, it's the perfect time to take those travel dreams and to bring them to life. When I was in the Galapagos in Ecuador, I stayed at a Wyndham hotel, which I loved. So that's why I recommend Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, with thousands of hotels nationwide, from Microtel and Days Inn to Super 8 and La Quinta. There's likely a hotel by Wyndham wherever summer takes you. Even better, the award-winning loyalty program at Wyndham Rewards is free to join. And right now, members can save up to 20% on their next trip. So head on over to wyndhamhotels.com.
Sounds good to me. How about a smart travel tip?
Well, many people are afraid to travel with their jewelry. You don't have to be, and you don't have to leave it at home. So my tip is Jewelers Mutual. They offer broad coverage that goes with you wherever you travel and is tailored specifically for jewelry. They're the only insurer with over 112 years of expertise dedicated to protecting jewelry, giving confidence that if jewelry is lost, stolen, or damaged, they will work with a jeweler of choice to get it repaired or replaced. So be safe, smart, and wear your favorite jewelry on your next trip. Go to jewelersmutual.com.
Very cool. Okay, do you have a special vacation destination you want to share?
Yes, Pure Michigan is the ideal slow travel destination for summer, where you can recharge and reconnect with family, friends, nature, and fresh farm-to-table flavors. Soak up the sun along the freshwater coast and explore award-winning hilltop wineries, fragrant lavender fields, and farmers markets full of local finds. When it comes to food, it's all about bold flavors and fresh produce at James Beard nominated restaurants. Get inspired to fill your plate and fuel your soul at michigan.org.
And get away from the Austin heat. I like
Yes.
that. Okay, how about a tip for savvy travelers?
You know what I say? Keep up with your personal care, and that's why I recommend the Lifen Wave Special Electric Toothbrush. It gives you that super clean, I just left the dentist feel, thanks to its unique dual action tech. It combines a 60-degree oscillation with 26,000 vibrations a minute. The battery lasts up to 50 hours, which is amazing for travel, and it's easy to pack. Plus, it comes in 6 fun colors like limited edition green and purple. It's under $90 at Amazon or lifentech.com.
Very cool. All right. Where can we go for more information today?
For more info, go to tipsontv.com.
All right. Thank you, Justin, and safe travels to you.
Same to you.
The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored on behalf of Wyndham, Jewelers Mutual, Pure Michigan, and Lifen by Tips on TV.
Hey everyone, this is Maddie, the videographer for Studio 512. The summer heat is on, but that doesn't mean you have to stay indoors. Put on some sunscreen and join us as we go on some outdoor adventures in Austin. Now let's head south to Quest ATX, Austin's biggest wakeboard park. With 2 main wakeboard tables, private cabanas, and equipment rentals, this is a great place to spend a summer day.
Well, the wake park, we've got the main cable, which is our more intermediate to advanced type cable, a system where people can go in an oval. And then we have a beginner cable where we always have an instructor, and over there it's an out and back cable. Super simple, but it enables people to learn how to ride.
That's cool, Jerry. You mean like these kids? Keep practicing, y'all. There's more to do here if you're not a wakeboarder. You can body surf, there's also an obstacle course and a water slide.
I mean, it's a great place to come hang out, especially in the hot sun in Austin. We have parts of it that's super challenging to people. The wakeboarding part, still a lot of fun. And then the obstacle course and everything else is really pretty easy to do, but it's an adrenaline rush, and it's just pretty exciting to come out here and do it. Everybody leaves exhausted, and they have such a great time out here. So,
whether you want to wakeboard, body surf, or just have fun in the sun, Quest ATX is the place to be. We had so much fun here, I can't wait to go back. Catch more fun here at Studio 512, live every weekday at 11 a.m. And follow us on social media. Let us know how you're adventuring this summer. Stay cool, Austin.
Content segments during Studio 512 were paid for by Visit San Antonio, Windy Bar Beef and Windy Bar Ranch, Austin Telco Federal Credit Union, Wyndham, Jewelers Mutual, Pure Michigan, and Lifen by Tips on TV, and Penn's Mechanical Co.